Okay, so you're launching your own blockchain?
No, yeah.
Fuck.
I'm launching my own protocol on a new blockchain
Mm-hmm.
that I helped to launch, to build.
Did you
to a certain
record it?
extent. Are we recording?
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah, cool.
We're live?
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
Oh, nice.
Live, let's go.
Let's jump right in there.
So basically the name of the blockchain is called Say Network, and our project is incubated by the team that is building Say, and it's a blockchain building on Cosmos. I don't know if I have to be like too specific in here, but basically it's like an ecosystem similar to Ethereum, in which the ethos behind it is kind of like creating the internet of blockchains. So bunch of different applications that have their own chain, their own independence, but they can interoperate with each other pretty easily. So what we are doing is we're building the first protocol, which is a financial service built on this blockchain, and it's a derivatives exchange, specifically a perpetual futures exchange, but that's some boring shit. So I don't know.
So the futures of the coins themselves.
Yeah, we are supporting, for now we're supporting a couple of like major coins. We're going to support probably some synthetic assets as well. So like commodities, currencies and shit. It is pretty difficult to support like US equities from a regulatory standpoint, but that's probably somewhere down the road. At the beginning, it's going to be like big coins.
Why would you support U.S. equities if there's already an options market for it? Like, is there no options market, like futures market for?
There are futures. There are on centralized exchanges. It's kind of like the whole point of trading in DeFi. It's transparent, more efficient. It's permissionless. You can do it wherever you want in the world. It's hopefully faster. It's gonna get like this. The kind of like particular aspect of this blockchain is that it is extremely fast. It's the fastest blockchain out there right now.
See?
Which is which is pretty crazy. The guys tweaked kind of like the consensus mechanism, which is another boring part of blockchains, to make it extremely fast. So it is extremely appealing for traders that try to.
Do you think that that's like the most appealing thing, or is it that it's decentralized and it's very?
Well, definitely, like right now, as of today, blockchains are much slower than centralized exchanges and like TradFi. So their main selling point is the fact that, again, they're permissionless, which means that basically you can be censored and you can do whatever kind of transaction you want without having to ask permission to like a certain entity. It's trustless, so you don't have to trust a third party to transact. And again, you can do it from wherever in the world, just having a phone. So that's kind of like the main selling point right now. But I would say like the competitive advantage that we have with respect to other protocols is that we're faster.
And are you afraid that this philosophy is going to lead to the losing of interest in a centralized government and an overcoming of everything?
That's a huge question. Yeah, I hope so, man. I don't know.
I agree.
That's the ethos behind it. I'm betting my whole life probably. I'm 21, so I'm pretty young, but I'm betting my work right now on it. So I truly believe that like right now this is a very important problem in countries that have like a lot of corruption. Government are inefficient. It is very difficult to get a bank account, to access credit, to access insurance. So mostly like third world countries, Africa, South America, etc. But it is becoming increasingly relevant in first world countries as well. As the world kind of like collapses on itself, it's going to be a technology that resilient enough to help people, transact and do shit. Also after Armageddon. So
I think it's gonna bring about Armageddon.
Yeah, you think blockchain itself?
Maybe not blockchain itself, but it'll be a factor that leads to the destabilization of the current financial system, which I think needs to fall for every other domino to fall.
But do we want that though?
Yes.
That's good.
Yes.
Fucking privileged white guys.
I was telling Javi, bro. I was with Javi talking, and he told me like for one door to open, another one has to close.
But you have once you get to that, you have total we're back to hunter gatherers. I don't give a fuck about you. You know what I mean? Like we're back to there's no order. You know what I mean? You need some order and some chaos. You can't just
strong will survive, bro. That's all I'm gonna say.
I mean, I guess.
I don't know. I guess like a world that I see like turning out to be, it's like not a world in which legal stuff and all of like the social contracts that we have in society just like goes down and implodes, but definitely like the financial system, yes. So you're gonna have like political structures, social structures, but at the same time you're gonna lack like monetary stability, which is something that they have seen a lot in Argentina, for example, where blockchain is very very used, and I think we're starting to see it in first world countries as well. So. Yeah, kind of like halfway through what you said and what you believe.
I agree, but I also believe that the main factor that pushes a political structure is the financial.
Yeah.
You know, so like in countries that don't have a good like financial structure, then you know they don't also have a good like order system and things like that. So I think you need a little bit of both.
What's going on in Argentina? Could you elaborate?
Mainly like, I guess hyperinflation is probably like the biggest factor, and the reason why a lot of people kind of like went to crypto. So something that like an anecdote that I have that I can tell, like these guys I met in NFT New York City, I think it was a couple of months back, like August. These guys were from Argentina, and they told us that before Bitcoin and before like crypto, what they used to do in these periods of very high inflation, in which the currency just like started being worthless over time, like very, very fast. They used to buy like t-shirts or motorbikes because like originally it was gold, but it is extremely difficult to find gold. Obviously, if everyone is panicking and they want to get out of a currency, like gold is going to be super expensive. It's very heavy to fucking carry. It's not secure. It's like it's not efficient.
So a backpack with gold bars.
Exactly, it just doesn't work. And like the second option is dollars, which are also obviously very difficult to find. They have, other than having like capital controls enforced by the government for you not to get dollars, so you have to go in the black market, and you get $1 at the cost of like around $3, which is crazy. So in the moment in which crypto came out, and you had this kind of like digital, easy to access store of value, a lot of people, and not only like young people, he told me like his mother, she's like 60 and she buys Bitcoin, a bunch of Bitcoin, which, you know.
Yeah, it's rare. You don't really find a lot of mothers that find.
In Argentina, yes, that's the whole point.
Well, yeah. I could see. Yeah, I mean, I think that's what the most valuable thing about crypto, right? Like, I mean, when I started with Bitcoin, I told you the Bitcoin standard that I read.
Yeah.
Like, that makes sense to me. A lot of the crypto that I hear about today is like Dogecoin and like fucking Nano Doge.
Because you hear from Lucas, bro.
You read about?
Huh?
Because you hear from Lucas.
No, and it's not a knock because you can put in 500. I've witnessed people putting $500 and making 70,000. But when I hear that, I'm like, okay, this is someone's not actually trying to improve like a system that's not.
This is the future of finance.
Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. Yeah, when you don't have a political system. But so now we pretty much have like 3 viewers left, right? Okay. Because after this whole conversation, I think we should we can come back to the conversation, but to like say a little bit about us and everyone. Like we've known each other for a long time, and I think another interesting thing about you is that you've experienced different places in the world, and you have also.
I'm trying.
Well, yeah, you have. I mean, you've traveled a lot, and Ryan is gonna go to Egypt soon, so I haven't really experienced that as much. Maybe I mean I've been in London and stuff. But what do you guys? Is that something that's like a goal to you guys? Do you guys want to travel, and what's like the value to it?
You wanna go first?
Yeah,
Vasco.
go ahead.
Vasco
Me?
da Gama.
Okay. Wow, that's a big question. I guess like. Also, like, kind of connecting it to the previous conversation, this kind of job, it's digital and it's borderless, so it gives me the possibility of travel a bunch. Like, since I started, I moved to the Netherlands, then to Spain, then to London, then I moved to New York, then I went. Right now, I just came back from Medellin. I might stay in Miami for a month. I don't know, which is a very interesting way, I believe, of like living life, because you meet a lot of people. You have this sense of like. You don't have the perceived stability that a person with, you know, a 9-5 job and like a routine has, which I guess is like probably the best way of seeing life, because again, it's like perceived stability. Stability doesn't exist. So if you get stuck in a place and you just live there and you feel like everything is safe, you have your house, you have your job, etc. In the moment in which everything cripples down, and it does, like at least once in your lifetime, you're gonna find yourself with the ass on the floor.
If you're lucky once, bro.
Yeah, exactly. You're not gonna be able to. You know, to fight that. So I guess instability is like a great strength.
Being flexible, being able to flow, just go wherever life takes you. For me, travel is so important. I did 100 things I want to do before I die, bucket list, and I want to visit every single continent. I want to go to Antarctica. I want to just see everything that I can, because we talked about it before. Like
that's where the walls are.
Yeah. Bro, yeah. I want to like experience everything in life that I can. Why would I not?
Yeah.
Wasn't Mariscal in Antarctica? Javi Mariscal went to Antarctica, bro.
I don't know.
Pretty sure, yeah.
But
crazy.
That boy saw the aliens up there.
Yeah, literally.
Who's Marty Scott?
Who
the fuck is that guy?
It's like a flat earther.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
Maybe,
Let's just say
why not?
Yo, if you're listening to this, but listen.
No, but he went to fucking Antarctica, dude. He put videos and shit on Instagram. It looks dope.
Yeah, I mean, I think I get bored of it pretty quick. I mean, it's
Probably
cold. It sucks. Like, there's a reason why we like living in Miami.
Instead, as opposed to Antarctica, yeah, I would think so. That's
well, no way. Also, like, why Homo sapiens might, it's like hotter,
Yeah.
We came from Africa.
You can't climb the walls of Antarctica, obviously.
No, you can't. Well, they don't want you to.
Right.
They don't.
They don't. Who's they? Define they.
We don't have to talk about
the Kennedys, right?
Yeah.
Bro, that book that
people
I was
behind
reading,
blockchains.
it talks about that too. It says that there's a whole entire system underground that exists. And it makes sense to me. I was in New York, actually, when I had that realization. Because I'm walking on the sidewalk, and then I look down, and then you know how they have those grates that you can see through? I realized that there's a huge-ass tunnel system under the whole city.
Yeah,
and
I'm
like,
a subway.
You got too far down the rabbit hole, but I've been there too.
Yeah, and I'm just like, what the fuck, man? There's this whole undiscovered area just under our feet always. We didn't know what they're moving down there. They got
trains with people, bro.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying that expand. Like, think about what else they could be moving, bro.
But
I think it's good.
It's them, dude. It's
It's them. Okay, it's the others.
No, not them. Not they them. Oh, maybe it is they them. Yeah,
the others.
How do they identify? You think they? Well,
let's be respectful, guys.
Yeah, you're right. But I think when you say things like that, yeah, people are like, okay, that's stupid.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, people who say that's stupid to everything, that's stupid too. Like, you have to be dumb. You have to be a little skeptical. Like, look at Jeffrey Epstein, look at fucking, Kennedy. I mean, we don't know,
Yeah.
Like, some things you gotta be a little bit like, are you gonna think that the government has your best interest in mind? Definitely not, right?
No, absolutely. I just think they're a bunch of like dumb.
Why not?
Well, I wouldn't say they're dumb.
Well, because if you're trying to destabilize the actual currency.
I'm not trying to destabilize. You're gonna get me arrested. Happy my face
is illegal? Is that illegal? It's not illegal.
Try to destabilize the government? I think
the currency. I think super.
What's Bitcoin trying to do? Trying to destabilize the U.S. currency?
No, it's trying to give like an alternative to the current financial system.
But who loses when the alternative is successful?
The alternative is successful because the system is losing. It's not like the other way around. It doesn't have causality.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's the same shit. I think he has a point. I mean, it's gonna fail because people want out, and the second you create something that gives them out, it's bound to fail.
Oh, so you're saying that the intent is not like exactly these things?
That's what I'm saying.
But like,
if people were happy with the current system, and you say crypto, they won't go to crypto because they're happy with the current system. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, that's kind of like what I meant. It's not like crypto, like Bitcoin is a terrorist kind of organization.
No,
it's not a financial terrorist. But
yeah, no, they're just giving you an alternative, and the reason why it's starting to have value and more value is just because everything is kind of like crippling down and going to shit. That's kind of like the main reason.
Why do you think that there's such a like? Because I definitely think I have like a stereotype or like a stigma behind it. Why do you think that's the thing?
That's a great question. Yeah, probably a bunch of media. A lot of, I think, skepticism, regarding new technologies is something that we have seen like over and over in the past. It's not like the first time that we see something like that. We had it with social media, we had it with the internet, we had it like probably before that with like steam machines and like the car or whatever.
Yeah, well, for sure, especially for the steam, because that's like all the jobs went away. So.
Exactly. Also, yeah. So I guess it's like part of the human and the technological cycle of things to a certain extent. And then there's also the factor of, if you want to have like a really free, trustless, permissionless financial system, it's going to inevitably attract a lot of people that, want to leverage that freedom. So, for example, like terrorist countries, terrorist organizations, like money laundering and that shit. So right now, I don't know the statistics specifically, but I think it's like a very, very low percentage of transaction goes on that end, but a fair amount where like in 2017, 2013, 2014. So I think like it's going to be difficult to shift from, terrorist money to actual money and actual like cool financial stuff.
Has there already been like examples where like bad actors like terrorists, evil countries, whatever, take advantage of like crypto?
Yeah,
kind of do bad shit.
Yeah, man. Like Iran has been financing Russia also with crypto a lot. They're trying. So I think the main, from a country perspective, they're trying to go around U.S. sanctions, which, in my opinion, again, this is a U.S. podcast, so I'm pretty afraid of saying it, but I think it's not necessarily a bad thing. I really believe like a world with multipolarity and like different political system and different political views and different kind of societies, it's actually benefits the humanity in the long run. So I think that's pretty cool. And so that's it. Like, as soon as Russia got out of the SWIFT and all of the banks got like, got out of the current financial system, which is ruled by the US, they kind of went to crypto. I know a lot of people in Italy, like Russian people, that found themselves without money from one day to another.
Really?
Yeah, so they just went to crypto.
Huh.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you can definitely see the value in it, but I don't know.
Do you think it's gonna stay like that forever, or will the government and they catch up eventually and kind of crack down on it more?
That's the point, man. I think right now, crypto is kind of like softening up a lot, and it's getting like less and less decentralized as like the days go by. They're kind of like merging with the current financial system, and a lot of new cool products come up which are like extremely fast, extremely innovative, and like are gonna probably bring mass adoption. But at the same time, from a decentralization perspective, which is the actual point that makes crypto valuable, so the fact that it can't be stopped, etc., they're making a lot of compromises on that end right now. So it's kind of like an ongoing battle, and I think probably, if you ask me, I'm not Nostradamus, but I believe that at a certain point there's going to be like a very hard crackdown on this stuff and on this technology, and like only the resilient project and the resilient technology and true decentralized ecosystem will come out of this crackdown.
That would make sense, no, because that actually means that there is some like market influence in it. Like right now, it's almost like any crypto can succeed
exactly
off of hype.
Yeah, I know a lot of like one of the projects we're actually competing with, which is called UIDX, is a perpetual futures exchange. It's very big. It was built on Starkware, which is an optimistic rollup on Ethereum. Basically, what it means is that they have one single server that batches all of the transactions that come into that exchange, and then pushes them on the Ethereum network. So the settlement, like the final settlement of the transactions, is decentralized because they use Ethereum, but they have one server that matches their orders. Yeah. So it can be, anyone can go there with a gun and just say, okay, you have to stop this thing right now. And they have to stop it. So it doesn't make any sense to go to crypto if you have this, this vulnerability.
But is this like something that's not like available to the public, this information, or do people know this? And
if you dig a little bit, you know what this thing is.
But they market themselves.
Exactly. Like 99.99999% of crypto is just marketing. And it is very easy to market this kind of stuff because it's difficult to understand.
So that's exactly what Hunter was telling us when we had him on.
That's like a consistent thing, right? Like even more generally, like if you want to, even like finding podcast equipment and stuff, like you find out that you can pay $150 for a stand, and then when you find out what the core components of a stand is, then you can, kind of get around it. So like you're selling the knowledge.
Yeah.
You're selling the fact that people don't know how to do it,
The way I think about it is you can have the best product in the world, but if no one knows about it, you will not sell it at all.
Well, yeah. Or you can just sell a piece of shit with like, you know what I mean? Like you just saying that it will do a certain task, but not telling you how it will do that task, essentially.
This is the best piece of shit in the world. Buy this right now.
Yeah. There's a lot of those products nowadays.
Yeah. There's so much of that shit, dude.
Yeah. We need something to fix that. But, dude, talking about the apocalypse.
Yeah, talking about the apocalypse.
Did you guys see that, like, Russia, one of their biggest submarine just like left the bay? It was their biggest nuclear submarine.
No.
And it was like Biden addressed it as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's pretty fucking scary. Like that made me think because I feel like every year or 2 years there's like a scare when you're like, oh shit, wait, everyone might just, we might get nuked and all die. You know what I mean? So
North Korea was flying missiles.
That's the last time. That's when I was YouTubing how to survive a nuclear attack. But
I think you guys purchased like a bunch of drugs that would help if you have nukes.
Yeah,
if you get nuked, apparently the US government spent $300 million to buy like anti-nuke drugs.
See.
Oh wait! I thought you were just like saying just like take something so you just forget.
No, man. It is an actual thing. I don't know what they have inside, but like you just spent $300 million on this shit, so you're covered. Europe is fucked.
Yeah, well,
so we're gonna become like some radiation monkeys or something running around.
Some talking apes.
Yeah,
nice.
Exactly.
Oh, that ties in.
Yo,
how do we get those drugs?
Give me that. How do we get those drugs?
I don't know, man. I don't have
those anti-radiation. You got any more of those anti-radiation meds? Where they at, bro?
You know, it's cool that you have this name because there's a theory behind mushrooms. You know about like and they say that like the reason why primates, and I think was probably the Homo sapiens. I don't know. I'm not that good with that kind of like prehistory, but they started like having the need to interact with each other because they were super high on shrooms.
Yeah, stoned ape theory.
Exactly, stoned ape theory. That's the
name. Dennis McKenna.
Terrence.
No, I think. Oh, was it Terrence?
I think so.
So I think the idea behind that though is
Dennis is
the apes like reach a point of self-awareness. They realize I'm this being. They're not just on their survival instincts, and then that's what drives like the next echelon of evolution. So I guess
an interesting theory.
Yeah. It's pretty fucked theory.
Yeah.
You think it's
I would love for it to be true, bro.
It's probably a marketing move to sell shrooms, man.
Why don't we just go catch a monkey and just feed
the shrooms are lobbying?
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Exactly, man. I've seen a lot of like corporations selling shrooms right now in the US.
Well, they're legal. They're like slowly legal. I think Oregon, every drug is legal.
So I'm gonna start believing this shit less and less as these corporations advance it.
Fuck, that sucks. No, but
there's companies that sell psychedelics that are listed on like the New York Stock Exchange. MindMed.
Yeah, I made like a lot of money on that.
Me and Bato were at
like 2K on it. Yeah, you bought when it went on the New York Stock Exchange.
Yeah, probably.
Fuck.
Me and Bato met this guy at Rufus concert, and he's like, "Yo, I work for MindMed," and he's like, "What the fuck? No way! Like I'm invested in you guys," and he was just out there at the concert, giving like little souvenirs.
Yeah. No, but that's another thing that has a huge stigma on it.
I
was gonna say, do you guys think all drugs should be legal, like legalized? That's a big question, I think, in today's society. Like, some people say like all drugs should be legal.
I think so, but there's a lot of steps you have to take.
Well, recently,
especially in the States.
Recently, Biden he just released a bunch of people from jail that were arrested for weed possession.
Yeah, I think that's good, bro. No one should be in jail over a fucking 5 grams of weed.
But I also don't think, personally, I don't think, like, weed is good. Like, like it's not like, if you make it legal and stuff like that, I don't think it's like, it's not a good thing. People, like Joe Rogan, he's kind of idealized it as like this, you can be super productive, but I just think he's like, his persona is super hardworking. Oh. Most people are not like him when they're smoking, you know what I mean?
You'd probably say the same thing about alcohol, though. If you ban all the alcohol, probably people would be more productive.
Oh my god! If they banned all the alcohol, our world would
alcohol didn't exist, bro. We'd take off.
We just level up so hard.
Do you think like crypto will be involved? So like, do you think people will be using crypto in the future for like illicit kind of stuff?
Or it is. They already are.
Yeah.
So what he's talking about
we were talking about this with Vergate, and he was saying like, at the end of the day, it's always gonna be trackable. So do you think? Like there will be ways to get around that, or will it all
they're working like one of the major efforts that crypto guys are making right now. It's technologies that enable privacy on the blockchain as well. So this very smart guy, which is actually Italian, it's like an Italian pride in the crypto space, he's called Silvio Micali. He's like he won the Turing Prize, which is like the Nobel Prize of computer science, and he invented this thing that is called zero knowledge proofs, in which you can actually prove that this account is yours, that these coins are obviously like applied to crypto, that these coins are yours. This transaction actually can go through without having to tell who you are and tell your public key, etc., etc. Wow. So they're working on that kind of technology, and it is very, very important for financial applications as well. We're actually working on a system that is called threshold encryption, in order for people to actually transact and put a lot of money on our exchange without being front run by bad actors or whoever want to fuck you over. It is very important to have privacy in a financial system. So right now crypto doesn't have that in an efficient manner, but it's going to have it in the future. In terms of like, is it going to be used for illicit activities? I think to the extent in which you have a way to transact that it's free, like cash, for example. You're always going to have like a percentage that is used for illicit. And I think it's great, because if you don't, it means that you have a completely centralized and a completely controlled financial system, which it's not very optimal, I believe. Like, see, the truckers in Canada, all the shit that happened, that's like an example of this. Yeah.
Well, that ties in, I think, to literally the beginning of the conversation when you say that, like, we have this concept of stability, when at the same time, like, we're selling stability and safety with, we're going to limit to zero, to as much as we can, the participation of bad actors in the system. But at the same time, what goes away with that is kind of like a freedom and and stuff like. I think but I think what you're saying, I don't know, maybe not, but like, do you think that there is one right answer of the spectrum? Like there is one that's like, well, no, it's better. It's definitely better to have the more freedom, and then that comes with the bad side of bad actors or stuff like that. Like for example, what we said.
I think it depends a lot on like what your end goal is, because if your end goal is efficiency and like technological advancement, etc., probably the best outcome is just having a central bank that controls every single transaction. No one can money launder, no one can evade taxes, no one can do shit. So that's one end of the spectrum, which probably is gonna bring us a lot forward in terms of like economic freedom and like technological advancement, etc. But in terms of like moral and social freedom, is that the world you would like to live in?
That
at all?
Like China
exactly, that's China. Exactly, that's why China is kicking asses right now, because they have this system. But would you ever live in China?
Not a chance, man.
That's the point.
Not a chance.
Where's your favorite place that you lived out of all of them so far?
I haven't lived in a lot of places. Like I spent like a couple of months, but I guess Fuerteventura probably is like the best place I've lived in. It's an island in the Canaries, which is like on the coast between Morocco and Senegal, in the Atlantic Ocean. And yeah, I guess living in an island.
Why was it your favorite to live there?
Surf, sun, so good weather, good food, a lot of nice chicks. Yeah, that's probably the main point. The vibes, exactly. And the freedom and the fact that like living in an island kind of like pushes your priorities back by a lot. Like all of your ambition and all of the frenetic life and everything you want to do and everything you think it's important kind of like reshapes a lot. And I like a lot the experience that I had over there, because I just felt very, very happy, like genuinely happy.
How did you kind of begin all of this crypto journey where now you're able to like finance your life, whether it be in Spain or the Netherlands or Medellin or whatever?
It's pretty fun because actually the father of a very close friend of mine, which was the girlfriend of whatever, during COVID we were closed in this house in Tuscany, and he came to give us like food supplies and shit. And I was studying finance at the time. It was like early 2020s. And he just told me, okay, just stop whatever you're studying. I was studying like US equities and stuff, trying to invest a little bit. I downloaded eToro, which is like a Robinhood in Europe, which is fucking shit. We can talk about that if you want. But yeah, he told me like everything that you're right now investing in and all of the rails in which like the financial system goes is going to be substituted by crypto. Trust me. And so after he said that, I kind of like looked up to him a lot at the time. So I just started studying, and I went down the rabbit hole, and everything sounded so interesting, both like philosophically, technically, and yeah, I guess it was just the place to be at that moment. So that's how I started.
Yeah. And then you started just buying coins? Trading coins, would you start doing?
So the first thing I did, so Bitcoin was about to break the whole time high of 2017, which was like 20K. And I was kind of into like technical analysis and all that dumb stuff. And so I said, okay, if it breaks this resistance, this support or whatever, I'm going to buy a bunch. So I bought a bunch of Bitcoin with leverage on eToro, which has crazy spreads. It is very inefficient. It's terrible. And I started making a lot of money, so I get more excited. And as I was making money, I was studying more, and I kind of like shifted all of my focus from university at the time towards this stuff, because, when you make money on something, you feel that, it's going to give you the kind of stability, not only the passion and everything. So that was the first approach. Then as soon as I really studied and really understood the ethos behind crypto, I went to decentralized finance, because it didn't really make a lot of sense to rely on a centralized entity to buy these kind of coins. So I started playing around a lot of ecosystems. I got like rug pulled a bunch of times.
What is that?
It's basically like scammed.
Yeah, when you invest all your money in, and then the founders just leave, and they sell their position, and you're fucked.
The Twitter pump and dumps again.
Exactly. And that was during DeFi summer, which is basically the dawn, is that the name, like when the sun rises, the dawn of DeFi, like when DeFi was born. So I started to see like the perspective that this new financial system could have, and I got extremely excited. And I met indirectly this guy who is called Jose, which is it's the manager of Delphi Labs, which is one of the biggest venture funds in crypto and research funds in crypto. And he kind of like talked to me and a friend of mine about Terra, which was like a very big coin. I don't know if you know UST and all the shit that happens. So I went into that ecosystem, which is tied to Cosmos, and kind of like stayed there because I really like the Internet of Blockchains idea behind that. And yeah.
I stopped that losing money. You want the next step. Yeah,
everyone that loses money just stops caring, and I lost money and I continued caring. So I think this is probably my
you're that 1% that just keeps, and then you
so did you pull out then before? I mean, so you got in after the resistance at 20K, right?
Yeah.
So you saw it get to 60.
Yeah.
And how was like that experience for you?
I felt rich. For a while, like really rich. I got like so much money that I couldn't even think about how much money I had in that moment, which was crazy. But it was all on paper, obviously. It crashed like 95% just after that. So I guess that was pretty interesting. But I think every time while I was making so much money, I was always saying like the biggest value that I get from this stuff is the fact that I'm studying a lot and I'm learning a lot of stuff. And I actually believed that also while I was doing money. And so I think that's what kept me in the ecosystem also after the crashes.
Yeah. I would say the same for me. I just see the potential that the future holds for it, and it's like, why would you leave when you lose a few $100 or a few $1,000?
100,000.
The future is gonna exactly. The future is gonna pay you back though in dividends of 100,000 if you get in right now.
Yeah.
And it just seems so frankly dumb to me that people aren't seeing the possibilities, because this is life-changing. This is like generational wealth. Like you say, eventually it's going to get to the point where these big centralized governments, banks are instituting this type of crypto in their technology or however they use things. So why would you not at least learn about it right now so that you're in the right position when that does happen to make the correct moves?
Yeah. So here, actually, for the audience, we see a deep philosophical concept, psychological concept, which is not addressing, and it's a coping mechanism, right? When you lose a lot of money, you need to cope with. No, I mean it's true. It's true. If you guys actually believe in it, it's true. And I think that the only one that I'm informed with enough is Bitcoin. And like some girl at the Rufus Du Sol concert tried to explain to me Ethereum at like 1 a.m. But like I can see like the value in it. And I think one of the concerns, and I don't know, you obviously have a better idea for me, is quantum computing. I don't know if that is going to affect at all how cryptos are and like how blockchains work.
It's a very big question. Like, I'm not a dev myself, so I'm kind of like aware of that problem. But the idea behind it is that, decentralization, like the resilience of these kind of computing mechanisms that we use to validate these ecosystems are going to go at the same pace at which these kind of computers are going to go. So I think that's the kind of assumption. I guess I haven't actually seen a lot of people addressing this issue as of today. There's a lot of more imminent issues and problems that people are trying to solve.
What was number one?
I guess centralization of validators is a big one. Like, for example, kind of like what determines the resilience of a blockchain is how decentralized the validators, and so which are the miners for Bitcoin of this blockchain are. So basically you have 20. This means that the US can do a special operation and send, SWATs or like whoever they want to send to kill all 20 of those validators and you just fuck up the whole system. And you have 200. Okay, that's great. That's even better. But are they all like geolocated in the same place, for example? That's a big issue. So if they're all in Austria, like the Austrian government can just shut electricity and everything's going to go to shit. So this is a big problem. Like geolocation of validator is a huge problem right now. I think like most of them are in Finland and like in cold places, to cool down the servers. There are a lot of North America. There were a lot in China before the crackdown in 2021. And the third issue is the centralization of the servers that they actually use. Like a bunch of these validators use AWS. So if Amazon is profiting a lot out of this business, but if they get enforced, obviously, they're always the guys that make money. But if like law enforcement or like some big governments or like the IMF or whatever goes to Amazon and say, okay, you're going to shut down these kind of servers for all of the validators, you're probably going to have like a drop of 50% for the security of every network that we have in crypto right now. So that's I believe that's like the most imminent problem that crypto has.
That's like it's a little weird. It's almost like a paradox, because if you have a system that's like efficient, then most people are going to use it. Like, are you ever going to have a decentralized system if there's like a certain software that most that's most efficient? Like you have to build your own, no?
I think, yeah, exactly. I think the only, okay, unless we kind of like go with this flow of, you know, technological innovation and like decentralization of validators in a fluent manner, I think that the only way in which Bitcoin and in which crypto in general is going to become resilient, and I kind of addressed this earlier, is when the crackdown actually happens. So there's going to have to be an economic incentive for people to actually decentralize these ecosystems. So in the moment in which AWS say, okay, fuck it, we're going to close everything down, I don't believe that crypto is going to be dead, because the like
never
people
dies.
are, yeah, exactly, it never dies. It's not only the technology behind it. Bitcoin is obviously going to be alive. There's like a bunch of Bitcoin geeks all over the world. But people are going to start really caring about building these kind of decentralized servers and decentralized validators. And you're going to start all over again with a more decentralized network and more resilient to this
I have
stuff.
a quick question. I don't know if this makes sense, but the girl actually at Rufus told me that it's kind of weird that they have these platforms that you can just download on your app and on your phone and stuff. And it's almost like it's centralizing all of these cryptos. So it's like defeating the point. So like if you go on, I don't know about that app that you said before, but
eToro.
yeah, I don't know. So there's like a platform where you can trade a bunch of cryptos. Isn't that like centralizing it?
Yeah, the point is, like, if you want to have exposure to the price of crypto, there's a bunch of ways you can do it. You can also go to your, like, a lot of US banks accept like certain kind of, like, it's not called ETF, it's called like ETC, and you can have this kind of like derivative that tracks the price. So but that's not the real point of crypto. The real point of crypto is like infrastructure. Like you use this infrastructure if you don't have anywhere to go, or if you don't believe that your bank is going to make your own interest, and if you don't feel safe with your bank. So I think it's like two big difference. Like you want to speculate on this stuff and you don't really care and you don't really think that's important, like trustless and decentralization. Then you go on eToro, or you go to your bank and you go to your broker or whatever, and you ask them, can I have a little bit of crypto?
Yeah, and there's gonna be people who want that though.
Yeah, for sure. Please, a little bit of crypto. Yeah, I guess. But there's not going to be, like, in the moment in which, you know, everything cracks down, banks become insolvent, the Fed, it's not able to hold this kind of monetary policy for long, and that means that trust in the current system just is not there anymore. In that moment, all of the people that went through the brokers and went through eToro are just going to get fucked. And we've seen that already. There has been all of the centralized providers of crypto, there's like Celsius, BlockFi, and all that kind of providers, which are like on the edge, centralization, decentralization, they all blew up.
Yeah, they fucking exploded.
Yeah.
Fuck. That's funny that you guys say that. Like I feel like that's how homeless people will beg for money in the future. They'll be like with an iPhone, like
the QR codes.
Please let me get to 0.02 Bitcoin.
I mean, they're gonna be begging in the metaverse.
In California, it'll just be like that.
The biggest thing for me, crypto, so that you guys kind of get my idea behind it, is I always talk about the metaverse. I'm big on people getting sucked into the metaverse. When 60 or 70% of the population is in the metaverse 10 hours a day, going to work in the metaverse, or having fun in the metaverse, it's all going to be digital currency, which is going to be crypto. You know, so the fact that we're able to get in it right now and be early adopters, we're set, bro. We're set. Even if there's an 80% loss over 6 months right now, it's going to be a 3,000, 5,000% gain in the next 10 or 20 years.
Do you think, does crypto tell you anything about the direction the metaverse is going in right now?
I don't really, like, I think the term metaverse is very, like, misunderstood as of today, in my opinion. Like, today I woke up at Patricia's house. I checked my Discord and my Telegram and all of, like, the different business media that I had, and so I was with my phone. And then I checked the maps on my phone and had Waze with a bunch of, like, ads on the phone when I was going to the Soho House. I got to the Soho House, I went to the beach, started working on my PC, stayed 10 hours on my PC. I spent 12 hours today in the metaverse and, like, 1 hour without a fucking phone in front of my face, you know. So that's kind of like how I see it. Yeah, exactly. I don't really see the metaverse as a place where, like, people, you know, hang out with their, like, 3D personas or shit. I just see, you know, Microsoft is investing a lot in that stuff. Obviously, Facebook is investing in all of that stuff, and they're failing too, apparently. But
good.
It's going to be just a very efficient way to work online. And I am, like, the living proof of this. I'm building a thing which is very difficult to build, like organizing a bunch of people, like engineers, marketing, and whatever. And I've never seen these guys. Never. So I'm already building in a metaverse.
Interesting.
That's what I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But you said you use a PC?
Yeah, I use a PC.
Isn't this the security, the privacy on Mac better than PC? That's what I've heard. I don't know shit about computers.
Unfortunately, I have a financial background, which is a very big limit in crypto, and probably, but I have no fucking clue. Okay. So we have a lot of security practices, obviously.
Yeah.
Like our devs, we have some guys that are from Databricks and also Robinhood, like lead engineers at Robinhood. They're very good with like security, and they kind of like they all deal with this stuff. So I just trust them. And yeah, probably the Mac is not the safest place where to work, especially in DeFi.
That's interesting. Yeah, I think it's interesting that you bring up the metaverse because like in your definition of metaverse, because I'm thinking about those 3D people now, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking of virtual
reality. I agree with what you're saying. I think, yeah, we're definitely already indulging in the metaverse with 30 hours, But, and then it made me think, I was like, if there was a metaverse like game or whatever, about a utopia where there was no currency or whatever, and we were back to just like I don't think it would be popular. I don't think it would be. I think people like already how we're like nurtured today are so like hyper stimulated that it wouldn't even. So like this philosophy about that is it's a nice philosophy, right? I don't know if it would be popular right now. I think how we're brought up kind of makes us like so hyper stimulated that what do you think? Do you think people? I don't know. It's almost like if you have it here, because I was gonna ask you like, okay, what would it take you right now for like to just drop it on? Then you go and like we talked about in another episode, you farm with your friends, right? You're in a community, and like you have everything that you need, and you live your life like that on Earth.
I would love that. I guess I don't know. I think my work right now is very much tied to like my ideological values, and I don't really know if those are genuine or like pretty hypocritical and egocentric. I have no idea, but I have a very strong like drive to do shit and to change shit. And the cool thing about the metaverse, or at least the metaverse I live in as of today, is that I can do both. Like I can live in a farm and change the world from my computer, which is great. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Do you have a place like you want to settle down eventually? I don't know. An island maybe.
I like Italy because I'm Italian, so it's pretty. I like Italy a lot. Italy is amazing, especially in the summer. But I don't know, man. Right now, it's very difficult for me to think about that. I'm 21, and if I were to make a prediction, I would see myself going around the world for the next like 6 years at least.
Nice.
Yeah. Get a little taste of everything, of all the different type of girls.
Yeah. Yeah,
different
exactly.
Foods.
Yeah.
Those are the things that matter, right? Just weather, food, and girls.
Weather, food, and girls.
Like 99%.
Women.
Not
girls. Women.
Well, that's a very umbrella term now.
True.
Bro,
what is a woman?
have you guys seen the girl from House of Dragons? When she looks like outside of the show?
She said, you know what she said the other day that I just thought was fucking hilarious? I haven't seen the show, so I don't know the actress's name, but she said, so apparently she identifies as like they, them, like her pronouns. And on the show, she goes, like in an interview, she's like,
apparently
I like
they identify as they, them.
My apologies. My apologies. Woke mom, don't cancel me. She says, she's like, I really like playing this role. I think I'm really good at playing girls. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
What, bro? Like, come on.
I mean, yeah, it's fucking.
It's a fugazi, man.
Yeah, fuck it. Nuke it. Fuck it, let's nuke everything.
Fuck it.
What's going on in Italy with elections?
Dude, everyone's posting it on their story. The video of that girl,
That girl, our prime minister.
Yeah, the prime minister.
President. Can you guys elaborate a little?
Right now, she's that girl for me because I just see her on Instagram stories like it's every day. Yeah. But like, yeah. But you want to elaborate?
I don't know.
I have. I'm not too deep into Italian politics and politics in general, I think. But yeah, we can let your mom. But yeah, but obviously there's like a big overreaction with respect to what she is. Like we had a very much, I think, more extremist and like dumb probably guy in power a couple of years ago, which was Salvini.
To the right or to the left?
Oh, to the right. Yeah, Salvini. He's
not Slovenian.
Oh, so I know it's
Salvini.
Salvini.
Oh, I thought he was Slovenian. I was like, why is he the prime minister of Italy? What is he
doing?
Like
the conflict. Something's wrong.
Yeah, I was confused for a second.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I don't know. I can't. yeah, she did a lot of like very harsh statements. I think in her 20s, like regarding like Mussolini and all that stuff. And obviously, Italy is very sensible to that kind of stuff.
They're trying to cancel her.
They're trying to cancel her. Yeah, basically, I think she's like a new Trump. And
new Trump.
Yeah, new Trump. Yeah, and the cool thing about her that she's very good. She's very smart. Like she's smart as fuck. She speaks like 6 languages, 5 languages. I don't know how many. She knows how to talk to people. She's very fun. She's like a nice person to have around. You know, that's the kind of person people relate to. And I think like politics as of today is like mostly people you can relate to, and that's fucked up because it shouldn't be.
Right, I agree. Right. It's so fucked up. Yeah. Why are these figures that you can't relate to, that they're just speaking off the teleprompter? They have no identity. I like that there's something to talk about her. I like that she's interesting. I like that she has something to bring to the table. She's not just a...
because also like people you can relate to, like people the masses can relate to, are on average dumb as fuck. That's the point. You know? So if you have like a very smart dude, there are a couple of like very smart guys that run for election in Italy, and everyone was like, okay, that guy's a douche, I don't like him, he's smarter than me, you know. That's how it should be, you know. Politicians should run our country and it should be very much smarter than the average guy.
Well, I don't know if this is kind of what you're saying. You're saying that the people who relate to these politicians are like on average very dumb.
They're bots.
Well, the average,
the average
human being, it's not that smart, I think.
Yeah. There was an interesting conversation, and I have no idea where you stand on like religion or anything, but like between Sam Harris and Jordan Peterson, and there was like a point in the conversation where Jordan Peterson insinuated that people need a religion because they're dumb, essentially, because it's like something that like gives you like kind of a goal and like an aim, a target to and then Sam Harris was like, are you sure that's what you mean? I'm gonna let you take your words back if that's what you're saying. But in a way I understand, you know, like
there's definitely a lot of stupid fucking people out there.
Yeah, it's like you need a God to tell you that it's wrong to do something or something.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
to give you like a moral compass.
Exactly, because to go through the whole philosophical underpinnings and like the history of it, about what morality is and all that stuff, would be, you know, too much. Yeah. But I mean,
I'm gonna strike you with a lightning bolt.
Huh? You sound like Tim Dillon.
I'm not saying this. He's saying Jordan Peterson said that. Oh, Jordan Peterson, he's very smart. But like, I agree. Like, are we like too many people? Are there like too many people?
Overpopulation.
Are you a depopulist? Are you trying to wipe out the population?
No, I'm not. And that's actually an interesting subject, because people say like, when people say, oh, we're overpopulated, and then they're like, actually, we're not overpopulated at all. Like, there's so much food and stuff for everyone to go. Everyone in the whole world can fit and have a house in Texas and stuff. Like, that's a fact.
Like, why the fuck is that?
But also, it's like, no, systems can be overpopulated. Like, you can have
like the jail system.
Exactly. You can have an overpopulated classroom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With only 20 people. Like, it's just, how are you going to manage 300 million people? That's the overpopulation. If you're talking about like food, fuck it. We'll figure it out. We have a couple more billion to go, but like that's something that people don't understand, I think.
What do you think is gonna happen as, like Bato's saying, you know, population grows and crypto is able to reach, more, maybe underdeveloped countries, communities?
So what is the question? Is it regarding underpopulation or crypto?
So like you were saying, you know, you mentioned kind of the global South, Africa, South America, etc. What's going to happen as crypto kind of makes its way into those kind of countries?
Well, that's pretty interesting if you think about it, because like I kind of like mentioned the fact that crypto right now is more relevant for people that don't have access to credit and don't have access to insurance, right? Credit and insurance are like two pillars of economic growth, and not only in a capitalist society, like they have been since like the Sumerian or like whatever 6,000 years ago.
Fuck them.
So fuck them. Yeah. Basically.
Sorry to any Sumerians.
I just wanted to take a hot take.
Basically, in the moment in which you have access to credit and you have access to insurance, it means that you can access capital and money and leverage and resources to, I don't know, like build a farm or like farm some crops. And at the same time, for insurance, you're never gonna farm like a bunch of crops if you don't have insurance of them. Like anything happens, your crops get fucked up, what do? Do you just die? No. So you kind of like, in order for people to take risk and so to become entrepreneurs and to, you know, open farms and like start producing food and whatever it's missing in those countries, you need insurance and you need credit. So in the moment in which you give access to credit and you give access to insurance, you have a booming financial system and like a bunch of young people that are going to have access to these financial products that are going to just disrupt the world.
Interesting.
I agree with that.
So you have an optimistic outlook.
Yeah, for crypto, for sure, man.
No, I mean specifically for how kind of low income or let's say third world countries will respond to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Specifically for this technology, because it kind of like, how do you say, levels
the playing field.
The playing field for everybody.
That's what I like about it.
Yeah. That's where it is important.
But isn't that what they've been saying they wanted to do? You know, Bitcoin, the great, it's decentralized, everybody's equal here, but aren't you seeing like little by little it's getting more centralized? The big players are kind of starting to control it more. The government is getting more involved.
Yeah, that's a big issue. And that's actually a huge issue, but I don't think that's happening with Bitcoin, for example. Bitcoin is probably not
Didn't it happen in like Ecuador?
Yeah, actually El Salvador, like something that they're doing, for example, they're incorporating Bitcoin as a legal tender, and they're kind of like incorporating in their balance sheet as well. So they're trying to detach themselves from the current financial system. And basically the current financial system is every country in the world is in debt with the IMF, which is just a bunch of like private bankers around the world. So that's like the current financial system. And if we don't like what you do, we can just raise your interest rates and you're going to just die of hunger. This is how the financial system works. So what El Salvador did is like incorporating Bitcoin in their balance sheet and trying to become independent in this sense. So in that core sense of like monetary policy and monetary independence, crypto is still like fairly decentralized and follows its ethos. But at the same time, like the approach that certain kind of ecosystems, certain kind of blockchains are taking, which is kind of like farming retail traders and people that are interested in doing like stuff on crypto and investing in Dogecoin and shit. Aptos, for example, which is a very big blockchain, and it's a very strong competitors right now with Say, they're basically completely incubated by a team that is like ex-Facebook, for example. You know, so it's not really like the most decentralized. And they just sold like a bunch of their tokens, I think like 120 million of their tokens to very big venture capitalists. So I think there's like both hands of the medal. And again, in my opinion, the one that is centralized is not going to survive.
Damn, I need to invest in Say.
You need some.
Straight up. What's your take on Solana?
There's a bunch of stuff I could talk in terms of like financial.
So I guess maybe in terms of the future, maybe the possibility that it holds.
It's
if you like it or not like it.
So crypto
I'm heavily invested in Solana.
Okay, cool. So
I just want to know. I want to hear your opinion.
So crypto is a trustless technology, but at the same time, you need trust for organizations like institutions to operate on a blockchain. And Solana is just losing that trust and like visibility for financial institutions to actually run on it. So I know for a fact, I have a lot of NDAs, so I cannot say anything right now, but like there's like basically all of the teams that are working in DeFi and Solana are just getting the fuck out of it, because it's very difficult to close deals if your chain is down once every no one knows when, you know. And that may not be crucial for people that, I don't know, want to play games on the blockchain or want to buy an NFT or want to buy a house or something. But for like high frequency traders, market makers, so people that like provide liquidity for these systems and derivatives and basically all of DeFi in general, you just can't. It is impossible to operate on a blockchain. It has these kind of problems. So unless it kind of like manages to rebrand itself and find another niche or whatever, which they may be able to do. The guys that build at Solana are very, very smart guys. I've met a couple of them. They're like very intelligent people, so they're probably gonna make that. But as of today, financially, like from a DeFi point of view, they're fucked.
Damn.
Let me get on my phone.
Which this isn't related to price at all, though. Again, like it's all Pizio. Like I know a bunch about like technical stuff and you know how many engineers are working on that, how cool is the project, how resilient is the project, etc., etc. None of these things are tied to price. Yeah. So I may tell you this, and tomorrow Solana does 100x, and you're a billionaire. So I don't know. I wouldn't suggest like to invest or disinvest in anything.
Yeah, but I like to hear opinions, and then weigh them onto my own.
There's no incentive for like governments to teach this stuff though, right? Because if you want someone to like, I'm just saying like, if you want someone to actually learn the value in a crypto and not just be out there, because now people are like, okay, I can make 100x, and that's what they're being fed. Like, there's not going to be a class on crypto, you think, future. Like,
there's no class.
It's counterproductive.
There's no class on financial literacy in the existing system.
Yeah. Why would they promote crypto? The U.S. government, would they?
No, exactly. They wouldn't. Fuck no.
But then, how does someone get out of the mindset of, I can 100x this and let me look at the fundamental value of this crypto?
You just have to learn yourself like he did. Like, how did you study? How did you like get into it? Really, were you just researching? Or
I think that's like the best question you can ask, because like I guess what I always say is that the biggest asset that I have right now, it's definitely not the money in the bank, because we're in a bear market right now, and not even like the work that I'm doing or whatever, is like the ease that I have right now to find information. That's like I think 90% of my time I spent to learn on how to find information. And once you're in, I think this is the same for like every disruptive industry in which like you don't know a lot about. The greatest asset that you can have is like how fast you can actually know stuff and learn stuff. Yeah. And first I was looking at podcasts like this one. I guess I went to Real Vision, which was the first one, and there's this very smart like macro guy from Goldman, which is called Raul Paul. He does a lot of like famous podcasts regarding Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc., etc. So I started from there, and I scooped up probably like 300 hours of all of those podcasts. Then I had a class. I took a class online from MIT of Gary Gensler, which is like the current president of the SEC, and that kind of like gave me like the technical and more deep understanding on the blockchain level. And after that, I found Twitter. Yeah. Which is amazing. It's an amazing way to retrieve information if you know how to use it. And after that, Telegram, and after that, talking to people. And talking to people is like the ultimate thing, in which like you have a network in which everything that comes out, that it's coming out, how it works, you know the guys that are building it, and you know it before anyone else. And that's very valuable.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's your favorite convention that you've been to?
I've actually been mostly to Forex and commodities finance conventions. This is my first crypto convention.
Oh, wow.
And it's my favorite. It was my favorite. Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. It was very fun. Yeah, there were a lot. I like Cosmos in particular because it's not a very mainstream ecosystem yet. So all the people that you meet at this, there's like a 99% of boys. This is like a problem. There's just dudes, but very smart people, mostly devs, which is something that you see in this world when the ecosystem is like there's not a lot of money at the beginning, and that's very interesting because every person you bump into is there not for the money but like for the philosophy of it, for its vision, for the ethos, and there's a very good chance that they're also smart as fuck. Yeah. So it was very fun.
As fuck.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm talking about smart as fuck, and I think that you've experienced a little bit. I think, like, having gone through, and we mentioned this in our last episode, the Italian education, and then I guess a little bit of where you went to university. Do you think that I don't know if you have anything to really compare that to. I mean, now you've been in America for a while. From what you've witnessed and maybe talking to Americans and stuff, I don't know. Do you think that there is a difference in education? Because I think there is, having been both to school in Rome and Miami.
So I'm definitely biased. So this is, I'm gonna put this first. Yeah. But I guess like the biggest gap that I've seen was in the moment in which I went from an Italian school to a school in the Netherlands. And right now, I don't know if you know, but like all of the university in the Netherlands are kind of like picking up in world rankings. They're very, very accepted and like respected around the world, which I think is cool because they kick your ass. They're very tough. They have like this German kind of way of doing stuff in which you have to just work for 3 months, then you have 2 days in the weekend on vacation and you start again. And basically the real difference between that kind of system, which is very comparable to the US kind of like studying. I've also went to a US school, so I kind of like know how you guys study a little bit as well, is that they don't really leave too much space to interpretation and like creativity and like different ways to solving the same problem. And that's something that Italy has, which is great. But it's like the only thing that the Italian system has, because everything else, they're fucking shit. Like if you want to find a job, if you want to like learn how to practically do stuff, they're never going to teach you that. But I think like probably the best education that you could have, and again, I'm super biased because this is exactly the education that I had. It's basically getting out of like an Italian high school. So like knowing just how to deal with shit. Like for example, there's an anecdote that I think kind of like wraps it up. So if a German guy, you tell him to get out of a room, and you have to open the door to get out of the room. if the door is closed, he's gonna be very good at opening the door and getting out of the room, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But if the door is open, he's like, what the fuck? I have to open the door
there's
first. So
nothing to
he doesn't know what to do because the
Yeah.
door is already open.
Yeah.
And the Italian guy just walks the fuck through, you know. Okay, it's open, I have to get out.
That's a really good anecdote.
That's like kind of a way of seeing it. And I think in the moment in which you master this, you know, this kind of like skill of solving problems in different manner and being like very malleable and not strict, the other kind of learning is very easy. I used to compete with like Chinese guys and Dutch people and German people from all over the world, and I used to be like so much faster than them to learn stuff, so faster, because they had to read the whole book completely from A to Z, and I just had to read like 4 free things.
Yeah, and then you
start
could apply
connecting the dots and you figure it out.
Exactly.
Well, that's a huge problem here. Like, well, that I've had too. It's like you don't have to memorize all of the formulas. You just memorize like the first one, and then you can see how you can arrange it in a different way so that you can apply it to all different things.
Yeah.
You don't just like read words and then how does this fit into the formula? Because then, you know, if it's a little bit different, you know.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
And
I think the best skill, like you said, is being able to learn quickly. If you can learn something fast, whatever gets thrown at you, shit, let me figure it out, and then just attack.
I think that there's people who just learn faster, like just or into like they're just smarter. Like there's Einsteins and stuff, right? But I think that you can have someone who learns much faster than someone else, but this other person adopts this type of paradigm, and he can be more efficient, even though he has less like maybe like IQ, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. I think if you have to open a door, I mean, you can give any of those 3 people mushrooms, and then they'll figure it out.
Go to Italian school, guys. go to Italy.
Someone's just gonna run through the door with head first, like.
Yeah, just get out of there. Yeah. Yeah, dude.
When you realize you were out already, you don't have to.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah,
wait, what even is inside? I can just make myself outside if I close my eyes and I can be there.
It's all in your imagination.
Yeah. I used to think kind of what started me with the whole like philosophical life that I guess that I went down was I would sit in my room and all the doors would be closed and I'd be like, does the outside world exist if I can't see it? Or like, does it load in when I open the door? So I would like open the door and like go like this, like trying to see if it was still there, and that's what started it for me, bro.
We were talking about this a few episodes ago.
What would your reaction be if you just saw it load in real quick?
It was just like the void.
Man, I saw that actually. I saw that shit. I saw that shit. I was on Salvia. I don't know if you ever tried Salvia. Salvia Divino.
Dude, I wanted to try it in Amsterdam.
It's completely fucked, man. You're like it's like DMT. You have like 5 to 10 minutes in which you're so high that you just can't believe it.
Yeah.
And the strange thing is that it's different from shrooms because you completely forget that you're high in the first place.
Oh.
So you truly believe what's happening.
Oh.
And it's so fucked.
So explain the story.
I mean, that's what people
Basically
who do bad trips on mushrooms, they actually think that that's...
Have you gotten there on mushrooms? Never gotten there on mushrooms?
I want to hear this.
I had a bad trip on mushrooms too, actually. But anyways, like this story is more interesting. I was at this in the kitchen in the Netherlands. By the way, this drug is free and like legal. No, it's not free. Sorry, it's legal in the Netherlands. You can go to a like place where you buy cigarettes and you can buy that too, salvia. And there's like a bunch of like different types, and it's harder, stronger, and I've heard of people that felt like 24-hour trip in 5 minutes with like strong as salvia.
Well, that's on DMT too, right? People say they live a whole life.
Dude, I just imagine Amsterdam as people just like walking around like, holy fuck.
Now, on salvia, you cannot even like stand up, man. You're just like this.
I want to hear this.
It's a psychedelic though, right?
It's a psychedelic, yeah. And I got this puff, and I guess it hit me too hard, probably. And I saw like the whole world kind of like opened like this. And there was, I don't really know how to explain in English, unfortunately, but you know the thing that you use to like, when you build houses and you spray that thing like to make it resilient from what happens outside.
The foam that you spray.
The foam, exactly, the yellow thing.
The insulation.
The insulation, exactly. Everything was insulation except for like this triangle that was kind of opening. And so like that was like the visual trip, and the philosophical trip was like, okay, all of my life was a fucking lie. Completely straight out. Everyone that I know was involved in that lie. So I'm in a fucking
the Truman Show.
So basically, it was like my first reaction was like, okay, I'm gonna fucking stand up and run towards truth. All right.
Yeah.
Which truth was this foam that was like opening in front of me. So I managed like amazingly, because normally on Savia you're just fucked. When you see people, they have like all of the fucking saliva on them, and it's so bad. I managed to stand up and run. And ironically, the place where I was running into, which was the foam, was actually the balcony of the house. So I was about to throw myself out of the window.
Oh, shit.
And one of my best friends saved my fucking life. He just pushed me to the wall.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, I can't go this way, so I'm gonna go down the building, go all around the block, and get from the road.
Go to the phone.
So I went down the building in my t-shirt when it was like winter, -7 degrees. It was so fucking cold. Started running. And then at a certain point, while I was running, I was like thinking, like, do I really want to know what's on the other side? Man. Like, I've lived all of my life. My life was amazing. I don't know. Like, there might be anything. It's just foam. Like, what the fuck? Exactly. So I was scared as fuck, and I just stopped running, lighting a cigarette, and this all on Savia. Like, on Savia, you cannot do anything. Right? Like, you're fucking on the ground. Through, like, everything. I ran. I fucking ran. Apparently, I don't know if I ran. Probably I just stayed, like, there for, like, 2 meters.
I went to the kitchen.
But yeah, and then I stopped, turned around, had a cigarette. The trip went off, and I don't know what's on the other side.
Did you feel like, did you take anything from it, or were you just like, I was tripping balls?
I don't have it anymore, but I kept the other half of the puff in my wallet for like a year, telling myself I'm gonna do it again, and I never did it again.
No, I'm talking about, like, did you take anything, like, conceptually?
That I had to, like, solve my issues and, like, work on myself, that I'm too afraid. Wow. Yeah, that's kind of like what I took from it. It was cool.
That's such a good realization.
Dude, that's like the recurring theme that you hear. Like, I tripped and I came out with this. I gotta work on my shit.
Yeah,
it's interesting
because it puts your demons right in front of you.
What advice would you give to someone that's young, that's like you, that's like us, that is maybe trying to kind of live less stable life, like you were saying, be a little more off the grid?
Take Salvia.
Take Salvia. No, man, I don't know. I think I've been doing this life for like a couple of years, and I've struggled with it continuously. So I haven't arrived to a point yet in which I feel that I can actually give a point of advice, because I felt like shit a bunch of times. I made a lot of mistakes, and I still do them. So I guess probably it's not made for everybody. It's very stressful. It's very hard. You actually like literally feel sick, because in the moment in which you're not mentally stable, you don't have a place where to go, and you like feel in a fucking ocean. At the end of the day, it goes on your physical health as well. Obviously, you sleep very little. You have all of these flights. You eat different foods every time. You have like different jet lags and shit. And you have to be. I think my only piece of advice, my journey just started, so it's basically like, don't do it if you feel that you're not able to do it, because it's pretty tough.
Nice.
It's pretty tough.
You have to be like really convinced if you're gonna take a huge leap.
Yeah, and I might go back. Like a month ago, I was actually like thinking about taking a place in Italy, like a warehouse, and just stay there. And then Cosmoverse came, and I had to go, obviously, for like professional reasons. And now I'm here, like traveling and doing shit.
But I mean, I think isn't it a little bit more like a sharing that you can do that if you want to?
I can, but I don't know, man. I had a fucking infection. Like I don't know. Like my body, it's kind of telling me that probably I can't. I don't know. Maybe if a routine is important, and I haven't managed yet to find my routine.
It's almost impossible.
It's very difficult.
If
what's like the one thing that holds you down? Your one anchor through all of this?
It used to be my girlfriend, because when you have love in your life, you feel like you have something that it's on top of everything. You have like your job, and all like day-to-day shit, the money, and like also like the philosophical values that you hold, and like the thing working in an industry that you think is going to disrupt everything and save people. That's below love, you know. So when you have like that thing on top, you feel very strong, because you think whatever happens, everything fails, I die in a car accident in Medellin or whatever, I have love. But when that went down, I'm right now in a tornado, I think. So I haven't found another anchor yet.
North Star.
Exactly.
It's that love for yourself, bro.
Exactly. That's what a very smart guy told me, actually. I talked with this very smart guy, which I'm not gonna disclose him. Oh yeah, actually yes, it's called Diego. He's from Token Metrics. He's an amazing dude. He kind of like saved my life in Medellin as well.
He saved it.
Yeah, I was apparently like kind of like about of getting kidnapped.
Oh,
Nice.
bro.
Nice.
Or at least like robbed and like beaten up pretty hard. And he's from Colombia, and he like saw the situation and got me out of the situation, which was cool. And he told me the same exact thing, like self-love.
Yeah, like you said, love is above everything, right? It's above the money, it's above the philosophy, it's above everything. And that love starts with yourself first, and then you can give it to other people.
Yeah.
And then boom, 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 boom. And I was telling Javi earlier before the podcast started, the way that we will advance as a civilization to be able to do interstellar travel is once we all love each other and we're able to create a spacefaring society.
Well, that's what crypto's for, you know, because you want you know.
Yeah, loving each other is definitely not what crypto is right now.
I mean, in a sense, you don't want to be like nationalist and shit. You want.
Yeah, I don't know.
Be planetist.
You want a global society.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we need a Mars global.
United with love, though, not united in control or elitism or any of these things that are in the existing system. Unite everyone with love.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. How do we do that?
By loving yourself, bro.
Loving yourself.
Like, if you love yourself, you can only show love to other people. There's really no other option.
Yeah, because if not, you can't love yourself if you're a bad person. Right? Right?
I don't know.
Is that what it is?
It's a good question. I just think you don't know better.
But you don't love yourself if you're a bad person. Like, if you're a piece of shit.
You don't. If you punch babies?
No, but like you know you're a piece of shit. You're probably like, if someone asks you, you're probably like, yeah, I hate myself, but like I'm still gonna do it. You know what I mean? You don't love yourself to the same degree like someone who really is like happy with themselves.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're kind of like
yeah.
I'm kind of waffling, man.
It's a good question.
I don't know, man. There's probably some aspects of us, like each and every one of us, which like it makes us like a very bad piece of shit. So, but we still love ourselves. So maybe we don't realize there's a lot of variables, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, fuck. We're hypocritical towards yourself too.
Yeah, fuck that. Just be radically accepting and unconditionally loving.
You know what's something I kind of want to try actually, and it kind of ties in, like just for like a month. You know how Joe Rogan and all those people do Sober October?
Sober October.
Yeah, for like, instead of saying, okay, from now on, for the rest of my life, I'm going to stop doing this. Like, what if you just put like, okay, for the next month, I need to hold myself super accountable for this. Maybe that's more like tangible.
That's how you make huge change.
Because like, it's hard to like just quit something.
And I think 30 days is enough time frame where you're going out and doing something, but it's not like, it's not like, well, I'm going to do this for a year. 30 days? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's try it.
And then you actually know what it's like to not do it.
Yeah.
Because you forget.
Man, I have nicotine in my life. That's impossible.
Well, yeah, that's hard. Yeah,
you gotta get off that, bro.
I don't know. I guess. I don't know.
You got to. I mean, it saved
I
you
for a long time.
So. Save me with the salvia. Yeah, that's the point. I don't know if I don't really know if I actually need it, or if I need it because I have. I don't know. It's fucked. But like the cigarette, gives you the timing of life. Like, you know, you finish eating and you just stop and have a cigarette.
That's a good
and you
point.
think and you look around and you don't rush. You know, you have your cigarette. I know I have to take a cigarette. So I'm gonna, you know.
Yeah.
So that's why every time I'm around with people that don't smoke, I'm fucking stressed as fuck, man, because they're just running around. Like every time they finish something, they have to do something else. Like what the fuck? Like pause, smoke a cigarette.
That's actually like so. Like,
I really like that.
That's dope. That's cool.
Yeah, the timing of life.
Timing of life.
So. Kids, if you're listening,
yeah, smoke
and cocaine as well.
Yeah, if you want to study, you know, if you want to be really efficient.
Yeah, that's something that we all need, though. That pause. It's such a good way to put it.
Maybe you
agreed, man.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of benefit. I mean, professors used to like smoke all the time because it's good for you.
Yeah,
the acetylcholine,
smoking while
the nicotine, the chemicals, the neurotransmitters. The acetylcholine is very good for you. Like if you want to pay attention and retain information, the smoking of it is bad. So like, there's actually companies. I think Lucy is one of the companies that they're coming up with. Like their whole gist is, nicotine is not bad. It's this. So we're gonna develop a product where you don't have to like smoke it in this way. It's harmful for your lungs and stuff, but you can still like reap the benefits of nicotine and stuff.
I think nicotine has like some pretty shitty side effects of its own, like cardiovascular shit. I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
I've had some good things. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I have some great things, man. I have my own. I love it.
Yeah, but I know, we evolved. I think they used to do like, it was, I mean, Coca-Cola has cocaine in it, right? It used to have,
used to.
yeah. Well,
Coca-Cola has
supposedly
cocaine.
what do they have in the drinks now and shit that we don't know, that in like 50 years they're gonna be like, holy shit. They had dimethyltryptamine in the textbooks, and now
well, fuck the FDA, man. Fuck the Heart Association. Fuck all these people.
Yeah, who are they to tell us? Let's make a decentralized FDA.
Yeah, that's right. Only crackheads decide what we can eat.
Yeah. Well, it's survival of the fittest at the end of the day.
Always.
So I think how long?
We've been like 1 hour 16 minutes.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Fair amount of time.
But,
we got into it at the end. Do you have maybe one story that you want to share with us like that?
I shared
along
so
your
many,
travels that has been one that stood out to you a lot.
Oh, wow, this is a huge question.
Or maybe a situation where you just thought, "Oh shit, am I gonna survive right now?"
I guess I have like a couple of, not something that actually happened to me, but something that they told me, and it gave me like a sense of how aware you have to be of things in certain places with respect like, to others. And in Medellin, you have to really be aware of like what's happening. You know, for example, this experience that I had with this guy, I was a little bit high on shrooms, and I was smoking the cigarette. And these guys were like super friendly. You know, they just wanted to feed their family. They weren't like bad people. They were just talking to me. Hey man, how you doing? What are you? And I kind of was aware because I was in Medellin and I knew that I have to be careful.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I kind of like vibed with them because I was pretty high, and you can't afford that in some places. And what these guys told me after this experience that I had is that some girls there have this powder that they put on their shoulder, which is like comes from a tree. I don't know what the fuck that is, but like basically they move their hair. It's like imperceptible the move that they do, and you get that in your nose a little bit. And you're completely conscious, so you can do everything. You can open your bank account, you can, go to your house, take all of your shit, whatever, but you're completely in their control.
Jesus Christ.
And it's crazy. And this is some kind of stuff that you would never think about if you're in Miami, but you have to think about if you're in these kind of
So
countries.
you're like hypnotized by it.
Basically, yeah. Yeah, exactly. You're not, you can make like conscious decisions, but on the outside, you're conscious. Like everyone sees you like normal, maybe a little bit drunk.
Interesting.
You just hit the...
That said something about free will, right? I convinced you a little bit.
That was just scary to me, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked.
Where can we find this powder?
Give me that.
It's probably Rufus. Like that's the name of the CHP. I've heard that's the kind of drugs that we have like in the
CHP?
developed world. And this is some kind of shit that girls have to be aware of here. And we don't, which is fucked. And I tell you, in Medellin it was fucking stressful, and I kind of understood how stressed girls live their life when they go out.
Yeah. Fuck, that's fucking scary. I just finished the whole Jeffrey Dahmer Netflix show, and that already is just like.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, he used to just.
It's pretty good. Yeah,
he used to
you
just
should watch it.
Bring people home. Just you never know. You'll never know. Hey, you want a drink? And then
Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
Just hit him with it.
Oh, but Bill Cosby, but he used to like.
Either we fucking or I'm fucking, bro.
Dude, that's so bad, man.
What?
The Bill Cosby. You haven't seen that meme? Meme of Bill Cosby says either we fucking or I'm fucking.
Oh yeah. Sheesh. Well, in Medellin, maybe.
I just know so many girls that just go out there and I see them and they're like, and I'm like, how, bro? You can't do that.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't do that.
But yeah, but it's a fact. Like you can't. You have to look after yourself a little bit.
I feel like I have like such a drive to like take care of them in that moment. But then I realize like, dude, they gotta figure it the fuck out. I can't really do much.
Well, yeah, because if you, I mean, yeah.
Like one time I was
out. Do it again. Probably.
There was this girl. She was a little big, and she was just. She was actually. There was not a person behind her eyes, and there was like 3 people trying to hold her up, like taking her to the bathroom, and I was like, "Oh, this is not gonna end well for any of these 4 people involved."
Yeah, nobody's winning.
Yeah,
but fuck. I mean, yeah, maybe we should keep them illegal for a little bit.
Keep what illegal?
Just drugs and stuff.
Oh yeah.
People don't know how to handle. People don't know how to handle alcohol.
What was in that beer, bro? What did you give to him in there before the podcast started?
Exactly. Move your hair.
Yeah, that's fucking scary, bro.
Man, that's crazy.
You have to like now you go to Medellin, you have to like, hey, can I check your shoulders real quick?
It was very difficult for me to get my dick hard after that story, man. Every time I see a girl, I was like, are you gonna try to kill me? Or?
No. Unless if you were under the influence, they could just tell you and your dick would get hard.
Get your dick. No, I had a let's close it here.
Yeah. That's a great
Apes out.
Yeah.